Beijing took a strategy gamble at the paperclip, and it paid off, making him the 5th different winner out of 6 races. But at the top of the points, Holly was spared a bit of pain through the soothing of drop weeks. It was not a fun time for our championship leader, as he needs to turn things around in Texas with no more safety net underneath. We'll see if we get another new winner as we get ready to watch Round 7 of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, make room in your track description this week because, well, everything's bigger in Texas.
Well, the track definitely feels like it is, Joe. By the numbers, Texas Motor Speedway is just another 1.5 mile or 2.4 kilometer four-corner quad oval rather. This one's situated just north of where the 25 meets the 114 north of Fort Worth. But ask any driver and they'll tell you this place is unlike any other. Texas has been the site of many terrifying crashes due to its high 20 and 24 degree bank cornering speeds. Most memorably was Michael McDowell's incident in qualifying for NASCAR Cup Series in 2008. As a driver, incidents like these haunt the edges of your mind as you attempt to toss your truck into these 4 tough corners and make the fastest lap without repeating history and leaving your sponsor on the safer barrier. The trucks tonight will likely carry their speed too much to the corner, so managing them on the exits to 2 and 4 will be a challenge for the drivers tonight. And the surprising double dog leg can catch a driver unawares if they have a lapse in concentration. Combine that with a loose set, and you've got the recipe for quite a handful of truck track combination tonight. To see how tough it really is, let's take a lap around Texas Motor Speedway in a NASCAR Gander Outdoors Series truck in our GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Texas Motor Speedway in the GSRC Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck. Without further ado, here we go for a Lone Star State size lap guide. Money lap for qualifying, you're going to bring it right in here, kind of drive it straight to the bottom. Then what you want to do is you want to let it rotate just a little bit through the middle of the corner, and then you want to hook this white line right on exit and then drive it straight out to the wall down the backstretch. And they're pretty straightforward and simple. Down into turn 3, you're kind of repeating turn 1. Get right down to the bottom, let the truck rotate, but then be very mindful of the apron right there. If you get too much of it, you're going to be fighting off the corner like what I did. Now, with the improvements that iRacing has made in the service throughout the course of time, the top lane really works very well here. So here we go up into the top, and you're doing the same thing that you were doing on the bottom. You're letting it rotate on the top, and then once it hooks and bites, you could drive it straight off this corner and really use it to get a great run going down here in turn 3. Guy you're chasing going to the bottom, that's okay. You can go up to the top, right up here in that second, third lane. Same idea, let it rotate, and then you can bring it down like this just a little bit and then drive it straight off of the corner. But all importantly, we're coming through the front stretch here across the line, and that is going to complete our guide here around the Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
See a couple laps around here at Texas, and I mentioned in the intro that the championship has changed shape a little bit, but not a lot. Let's take a look at those driver points, and again, that is because of the drop weeks. So Bradley Holly lacking as good a drop weeks as he had before, but still having them. He's 30 points ahead of Paul Williams. Really, Adam and I were talking about it. The big fight is for second place. Look at that, between Williams, LaBath, Chatley, and Hartman. 5 points separating 4 spots. It is incredibly tight there. And though they're fighting for best of the rest, they're all of them have their eyes, of course, on that top spot. The team's points are just as tight here, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. Back row racing, similar to Bradley Holly's team, is pulling ahead with 49 points on the rest of the field, but for that second spot, it is quite close. There's only 20 points covering second to fifth with Whataback the other guys, Whataback Formula One, Whataback Ramrod, and 24/7 Motorsports. There are a lot of Whatabacks up there, but who's going to end up in that second and third position? Can 24/7 Motorsports pick it up? Let's find out tonight.
We'll keep an eye on that. And what they have to deal with tonight is, of course, round 7, as we mentioned. And it's going to be 85 laps that they have on tap. But as we've seen all season, it is limited to 60 minutes. And based on what we've seen in warm-up, it's not looking good about them making those full 85 laps unless these drivers are very, very patient out there. It is a fixed setup, and, the setup today is loose from what we're seeing. The green-white checker is in effect. So we can run into overtime. They have a 13 incident limit, which is down from the 17 they had before at Martinsville. Drivers probably going to have a little bit heavier hits if they have contacts out there with those incidents, so they might not get back out on track as easily. Right now, they have warm-up underway, which is just about over. But hopefully we will be able to see some good action here in qualifying soon. Now, we do have a couple updates on penalties from the previous week. We have an end-of-line start for Mike Richter, and Trevor White, unfortunately, will not be able to join us today as he has been given a 1-race ban. So you can see they're starting a little bit of a pit party, and maybe they'll give us an idea of what's been experienced lately here, Adam, because we've certainly been joking a little bit about it, but it looks like these trucks are a handful today.
Yeah, and they can't blame it on the heat either. The track temperature right now in practice is only 92 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is all down to driver setup and the nature of the track. Now, Texas tends to want to pull you towards the wall through the corners. You could say, well, Adam, every track wants to do that. Yeah, but at Texas, it feels more prominent when you're driving this truck. And so that can be really difficult. As we watch these guys do their pit party, looks like everyone's making it off of turn 2 clean this first lap. But watch as they come off of 4. You'll see a lot of the back ends of these trucks want to come around, and that's something they're all going to have to be super careful of tonight as we see a couple of trucks spinning off of 4 now. Wow, a huge jump.
Hopefully they're getting it all out of their system here in the warm-up. Wow, very, very big junk. A lot of people running into the action there. Interesting to note, though, that even though it's been a bit of a runaway for Bradley Holly, at least in terms of the points, he's only won 2 out of the 6 races we've held so far. I mentioned it, that we've had 5 different winners up until now. It's just Holly's been very, very consistent. And based on what we've seen, that is one of his strengths. We'll see if he can continue that tonight. Right now, he's looking very good in practice with the fastest time in the warm-up over one of his main rivals this season, William Hartman, currently trailing him by about 200ths.
Yeah, definitely, Joe. He has not had the success, Bradley Holly, that he has come to expect in this series, especially over the last 2 seasons. And he's been dealing with more struggles. He's out of drop weeks, which is not something we've seen in the last 2 seasons for him. So he's definitely going to have to keep it clean tonight if he wants a good opportunity for that points championship. And everyone is kind of looking at this and thinking to themselves, you know what, I might have a shot this year, especially Paul Williams. So we got a lot of opportunities here and a good opportunity for this season to get spicy if Bradley has a bad night tonight.
Yeah, the drop points currently because of last week at Martinsville at 22 down for Bradley Holly. However, he's to give you an idea, they can of course get 37 points for a win. No, excuse me, 45 points for a win, and find themselves getting bonus points for things such as pole position, fastest lap, a lap led, and most laps led. As qualifying now starts underway. Sun getting a little bit low in the sky with this being in October here in Texas. It's only 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon virtual standard time, but you can see that the shadows are getting relatively long.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of Bradley Holly's strategies, he always tends to wait till later in the qualifying session to go out. As we watch William Hartman not taking that strategy and just going for it, I think Bradley Holly's got the right idea here, because as that sun continues to set, this track will continue to cool. And even though it cools less now than it did last season, that will definitely still give you a couple of tenths or even a couple thousandths advantage, and that can make or break you. It can definitely give you those 2 points for pole.
It's been Hartman and Holly on the front row for the last 2 races. We'll see if that gets repeated here today. We're watching Hartman continue on his way around. This is, no, he's not going to continue on his way around as he hits the wall.
Yeah, he's abandoned his lap. Very interesting. Jalen Battle did not abandon his lap, but he looks like he's just going on to his first lap now. But it looks like Blaine Adams has taken provisional pole right now, with Brendan Chatley jumping up ahead of him when he finished his lap.
Just starting to get a few of the drivers coming around on that first timed lap. Chatley and Adams down so far, but I'm seeing more and more names pop up on my screen that have actually gotten in the truck and taken off. And now we get some out there. Colton Lane looking very hot right now, taking away the pole from Chatley. Young, not too bad as well. Actually, a much better qualifying than we've seen from the 42 in a while.
So this will be William Hartman's final lap because he crossed the line in order to start his first lap. He loses it a little bit off the corner. He's able to keep it off the wall, but that's going to lose him time. He might be starting mid-pack, Joe.
Dominic Bajin finds himself on the front row as well. Bradley Holly, we're still waiting on him. He's sitting stationary in his stall. Ooh, surprisingly low qualifying for Rachel Hunt, who's been incredibly fast lately. She's down in 11th right now on her first time around.
Yeah, watching her in practice, she did not feel comfortable with this truck at all, and she was taking it a little slow through the corners and staying in that second groove. Looks like Brandon Walter hit the wall coming across the line for his lap, so that's not going to count. Rachel Hunt coming across for her second lap. It is an improvement, but it does not improve her position. She'll start 12th currently with about half the truck still yet to put in a time.
I wonder how many we're going to see that don't manage to put in a time, with so many of them even wrecking here in qualifying. Holly is out on course now. Hartman puts it onto the front row. Excuse me, now he gets bumped as Daniel Knight goes to second.
Colton Lane still holding that pole position right now, with Bradley Holly just rolling on to his first lap now. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Holly's going to be able to take it from Colton Lane, but Colton Lane put in a stonking lap.
Rob Haynes up there. Jake Hounshell had a good lap for fifth, at least until we see a few other drivers try to put their times in. Holly is slowing down, though. Was that a timed lap?
It was. He abandoned his first time lap just like William Hartman. He got a little bit tight exiting 4 and had to bail out of the lap. So that's very interesting. Robert Besaw Jr. looks a little neutral through the corner, and he's going to abandon that lap. Everyone's having a little bit of trouble with qualifying here, Joe.
Wow, what a bizarre development. We're still waiting on Williams to put time in, and he just does now. It's a 30.1. Wow.
Joe,
Williams also having trouble.
Joe, I don't think Bradley Holly's going to be able to get a time in.
I think you might be right. He is back out on course. Let's see.
It's going to be tight. I think he might just fit it into the 3-second fallover window. We're going to see what happens here, but he's going to be really squeaking it in under the wire.
Remember what I said about he doesn't have a safety net now. Only 22 points will be earned if he scores fewer than those 22 points. And it'll be very easy for his rivals to catch up big time to him in the championship. So as he comes around, the clock ticks down. It's going to be oh so tight. Does he have it? No! Feet from the line. Wow. So that's going to start him from the very back. And that's going to give us our order for today. Let's go through that grid. Colton Lane puts it on pole, with Daniel Knight starting in second. Row 2 has William Hartman in third, Rob Haynes starting P4. Then it's Jake Hounshell on the inside of row 3 with Josue Tellez, a good qualifying to go in 6th. Dominic Pagine, last round's winner, puts it in 7th. Brennan Chatley, P8 for him. Adam Young, again, great qualifying for him. That'll be 9th on the grid, and Brandon Walter rounds out your top 10.
Austin Hunter is going to start in 11th position alongside Charles Sumner in row 6. Row 7 is going to be Robert Besaw Jr. in the Lucky Baker's Dozen position. Then we have Jalen Battle in 14th. Mark Kalen's going to start off in 15th position, and Adam Zemke in 16th, with Nicholas Hunter 17th, and Paul Williams rolling off the line in 18th position. Rachel Hunt starting off in 19th position tonight on row 10, next to Brett Adams, who rounds out your top 20.
Zachary Zwar qualifies 21st, with Blaine Adams behind him in 22nd. Adam Shane, P23. Last driver to manage to put a time in was Baron Hilton in 24th. Then you get to the drivers sorted by iRating, and at the front of them, a championship leader, Bradley Holly. Peacock, Hounshell, Richter, and LaBaff are the last of the fields. Based on some of the dramas we saw in the practice, this is going to make it a bit of a minefield, I guess is the way to put it, for Bradley Holly, Adam.
Yeah, definitely, especially because around a track like Texas, track position is everything. With how loose these trucks are, it's going to be really difficult to make any passes here. Now, granted, he is one of the fastest in the field, so he'll be able to make his way up to probably 15th, 14th, maybe even 10th by the early on in this run. But in order to do so, he's going to have to take huge risks, and he's going to have to hope that he avoids any early wrecks. This is not a good position for Bradley Holly to start the race in.
This is probably putting a smile on the faces of his championship rivals, many of them up towards the front. I mentioned William Hartman starting from third. He's fighting for it out here. And also, let's see. Shatley is starting up pretty well as well, so This is their opportunity to take advantage of his ill-timed problems as the Mustang pace car comes around 3 and 4. What kind of racing are we going to get today? Colton Lane is going to have control of the field as the pace car is in, waiting to accelerate away. Green flag is out for round 7 of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, and it's not the greatest of starts for Lane. In fact, already from the outside, Daniel Knight looking like he's gaining a little bit. Bottom left at the bottom, that is Hartman, who has nowhere to go, except it's shorter on that bottom line, so he's going to leave Knight in the dust, settles back to third, fourth for Haynes, and then you got a gap back to fifth.
Yep, Hartman's doing a good job making up for that second position. He's going to push Colton Lane through 3 and 4. Now, this is where the first place where the truck seems super loose, so let's see whether or not everyone can hold it together as they exit.
Things getting very close between Houndshell and Bajin coming through the quad oval, but close to contact does not equal actual contact, and they both stay with it up on their high side. That's the 24th Tellez you see slotting into 7th position. Those following Holly, he's already up to 19th.
Holly doing a good job cutting his way through the field, but as we're taking a look at this side-by-side battle of Jake Houndshell and Tellez. Oh man, truck's getting extremely loose off of 4 again. This is just, we're going to see a lot of this tonight, Joe. We got to be ready for it.
Yeah, it was Houndshell who found himself down to 7th now, but up at the front, William Hartman already trying to poke his nose in on Colton Lane as they come up to turn 3. He's going to get down low. Can he complete the pass? So far in the warm-up, the low line looked to be the popular way to go, and there is a change for the lead as William Hartman is now at P1.
William Hartman making good use of that line there and getting right by Colton Lane. Colton Lane doing a good job just to take care of his truck. It's just lap 4. It's not time to get antsy about losing positions right now. Now's the time to just preserve, make sure you save that tire life for later on the run so that you can make good time if we start to get green flag pit stops.
Drifting off of 4, trying to be oh so careful with the truck around there already, starting on lap 5 rather. Dominic Pagine twice in a row set the fastest lap of the race. If we head back to 14th and 15th, though, they're all cluttered up, and Hunter is going to back out of it as he actually gets into the wall, the 312, adding his stripe to the paint.
And in that hornet's nest is Bradley Hawley, that white truck you see at the top left of your screen. Bradley Hawley right behind Adam Zenke and Robert Bissaw Jr., who are going side by side for 14th position right now. And he's just kind of bottled up behind these guys, and he's actually losing connection to the front pack. So this could definitely affect him because that toe on the straights is definitely really helpful for you as you get your race pace down. But he's going to go to the inside right now, make it 3 wide. Let's see who gives when they get into 3.
Guess he's got to make some aggressive moves and take some risks. That was his first one that we've seen, and it's going to pay off because that's going to move him into 13th past Zemke. Oh, and I think I saw Bissaw get the wall behind him. Bissaw able to keep it going, but he falls to 16th now with that loss of momentum.
And Zachary Jouar also, let's take a look at this. Zachary Jouar, I think, reacted to that and cut through the entire infield, so a very interesting moment for him.
Way up on the high side, tries to cut it back down low. Just understeer.
I think it was, but Zachary Jouar really had an adventure through the infield there.
They got it back out, but that, of course, takes Jouar down to 26. So we come back live, back to the top of the field. It is a 3-truck breakaway. Hartman is in front of Lane, who is in front of Knight, and they got a big gap back to Bajine, who runs 4th.
Some of you might be looking at the left column and asking, where is Paul Williams? Paul Williams started from the pits due to a connection issue, so he's quite a ways off. He's still on the lead lap, but he's down in 20th position. That is Bradley Hawley's main championship contender right now. So Bradley doing well in the points in that regard, but he still has William Hartman and Colton Lane to worry about, who are also challenging him for the championship, who are up there at the front.
Watching Lane and falls down to 3rd now. Daniel Knight gets into 2nd position. You were even talking about before we went live how if Holly's rivals could just get themselves some luck like he has. Paul Williams, yet again, proof of that it seems like the racing gods just do not smile on anybody but Bradley Holly sometimes.
Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. It looks like Jason Hounshell is taking a pit stop, but Paul Williams out there on his own. He's got no draft help, but he also has nobody to hold him up. So what he could do right now is just manage tires, manage fuel, and maybe stretch the stint a little bit and possibly gain a lot more time on these guys and try and recover a little bit from what he's been dealing with.
So for some reason, we've had Hounshell come into the pits. This will put him, well, actually, he was already multiple laps down.
That was Jason Hounshell in the pits, and we're looking at Jake Hounshell fight with Charles Sumner. Charles Sumner just slipped by Jake Hounshell, and Brendan Chatler looks like he's closing in on there as well. At the back of that pack, we can see Bradley Holly.
Got to remember there's more than one Hounshell, and definitely need to remember Charles Sumner to watch out for the grip off of turn 4. He loses a couple positions with a big bobble that we saw. Chatley and Jake Hounshell goes by.
And it looks like Zachary Joire has spun or come into the pits, I believe.
Yep, that's going to be a caution. It was on the front stretch. I think he was by himself. Yes, he was. This is our first victim of this loose set. This is what I believe Adam Young would call the hospital wobble.
That's interesting. It looked to me like he was slowing down for some reason, like he might have wanted to come into the pits there and just misjudged his speed. Let's take a look on board.
He's lifting. So maybe he was trying to come into the pits early and it just backfired. That backed him into the wall. And he gets going, so it's not damaged enough that the truck is incapacitated. But the only truck he is ahead of is Jason Hounshell.
So unfortunately, that's going to mean an end-of-the-line penalty for Zachary in the next race. He got one in round 5. He got a caution attributed to him in round 5 as well, so that's going to make it unfortunate for him for next race.
And we've already got everybody coming in. Everybody is pitting. Is anybody going to stay out? No. Every single truck comes in.
The person who benefits the most from this is Paul Williams. He was managed to stay on the lead lap that entire time, and this puts him back up to the front of the pack.
Hartman and Lane both missing their stalls. So who's this going to put up at the front? And it's going to be Bajin.
This is huge, huge news, and unbelievably, Bradley Holly is going to come out in front of those two. This really changed up the whole field.
Yeah, that puts Bajin first, Haynes in second, Brandon Walter third, Jake Hounshell bumped to fourth. Chatley, probably our first big player up there, now in 5th position. Wow. Colton Lane, where does he wind up after all is said and done?
Joe,
I'm trying to find him.
if we could take a look at the replay of William Hartman's attempted pit stop, the reason why he missed his pit box was contact on pit road.
And that's not the first time we've seen that in PRL. We'll try and find the replay.
Yeah, this is very...
I want to say that happened to Hartman at Kansas.
I believe it did. This is really interesting. Let's take a look at this. Watch Daniel Knight behind him. He's just going to come in and give him a shot. He should have been ghosting at that stage on pit road, that far, just a couple boxes away from his box, but apparently he wasn't. And take a look on the onboard here.
This will give us a very clear view of the contact. Oof. So Hartman down to 23rd. Lane returns in 12th.
It's that luck you were talking about, Joe. I mean, it seems like anyone who tries to compete with Bradley Holly just gets cursed. I know Halloween's tomorrow, but it might as well be tonight.
It seems like it. It's been a bit scary for a few people for sure, especially just trying to handle the truck. And I think we should get one to go this time by with Bijin restarting us. Now it's a bit of a reverse of last race. Dominic didn't get to the front until the end of Martinsville, but here at Texas, it's early laps, and now he finds himself cycling up to the lead. It is indeed one to go as they now go 2 wide. Thus far, we've only lost one driver. Jason Hounshaw has actually exited now. Zachary Zwar is still running, but he's come back in for a second stop. And everybody else is still going. So 28 cars should get the restart unless Zach thinks that he is too damaged to try and handle the truck for the rest of the race. Down the back stretch. So far, this has gone way better than all the doomsaying that we were predicting before this race based on what we've seen in the difficulty of handling such a loose vehicle. Quite a few laps at the start, really not too many in the way of dramas until we had a single truck incident that caused the caution. So as the Mustang pace car now ducks away into pit lane, what can the Canadian do with control of the field? Green flag is out. The field is restarted. It is a great jump for Bijin. He's going to get all the way in front of Rob Haynes before they get to turn 1, but Brandon Walter is now competing with Jake Hounshell to his outside. Chatley also going low to the 94. Brendan is going to move into 4th with that through turn 1. Otherwise, getting single file pretty quickly at the top of the field.
Daniel Knight definitely has engine damage. He is slow through these corners. He's just dropping back through the field. He's the one who hit William Hartman while William was going into his box. So this is significant for him and his race chances tonight. But everyone else doing a good job of staying clean as they go back into 1 and 2.
I'm surprised. I didn't think it was that hard of a hit. But obviously it is causing him to struggle significantly. Hawley is all the way up to P6 now and already looking to take 5th away from Jake Hounshell. And right on board with Jake down low, you're going to see there goes the number 184. And he's going to go for a 2 for 1, seeing if he can get by Chatley as well.
He'll be able to do it here on this double dog right here. And he's going to go into 1 in P4. Bradley Hawley just smoking through the field right now.
How quickly can he catch the top 3? Well, if they squabble like they're just about going to do right now, because Rob Haynes is going to take the lead, that'll make it easier for Hawley. Certainly makes it nicer for Rob Haynes, who is your new leader. Bijin stuck on the outside as Brandon Walter, who nearly doors him coming off the corner, eventually gets by into 2nd as well.
Moves this 0.3 back to Bradley Hawley in 4th position. We're going to go on board with him and see how quickly he catches up to these guys. Look at his cornering speed.
What was it, 24th on the grid for Hawley? 25th on the grid. He's already up to 4th position on lap 20 now. He's poking his nose to the inside, keeping it down low of Bijin. He might have the pass done into turn 1. Fully through. Bradley Hawley onto the podium already. What amazes me even more, Adam, is after the Cup race earlier this Sunday, I asked Hawley, who's on a much bigger winning streak over there, how he finds speed over others around him, and he said he didn't know himself how he finds it.
I mean, some people are just alien. Looks like over here on the ovals, Bradley Hawley is one such guy, and he seems to have an understanding of these tracks. He seems to be really connected with the road. Well, I bet we're going to have a lot of people who are going to be asking what his setup is at home that allows him to drive with such connection to the wheels. We take a look at the 66 and the 94 duking it out there.
Hounshell on the high side in the green and black. And Hawley already took 2nd place away from Walter.
Yeah, and this was Walter getting extremely tight off of respect. And he just went straight up the wall. He just went straight up the track here.
He actually did get the wall as well. Looking At the 99 there. Now we're on the replay. Lances it pretty hard.
Yeah, this is not a very easy thing to recover from for him.
As we come back live, he was under threat from Jake Hounshell, but Hounshell not able to get by through 1 and 2. Telez getting into a battle with Bijin behind them. In the low line as Dominic gets the shot off the corner and across the line. That'll solidify P5 for the Canadian.
All right, so Bradley Holly is in P2, and I'm going to say a very familiar thing, just the roles are swapped. William Hartman has climbed his way up to P14. Seems like these two guys seem to be able to make their way through the field with similar pace. So all William Hartman needs at this stage is a single truck spin, and then he can get his way back up to the front, just like Bradley Holly did.
Watch it from onboard Hounshell, or onboard Eugene rather, looking back at Hounshell. And you can see pokes of Telez just around the corner, right in behind that number 94. Whoa, big check up there from Hounshell that time. Off of turn 2, Telez takes it with both hands, but can he seal the deal as he comes through 3 and 4? Look at this, they're being joined by some friends. That's Colton Lane down on the bottom. Our pole sitter gonna make it 3 wide.
Colton clipped the grass there and it almost spun him around. He was able to catch the truck, but man, looks like John LaBaff is going around now. We have Adam Shane going into the pits. A couple of trucks. These trucks are starting to take off on him, Joe.
And Bradley Holly's in the lead. Oh, excuse me. Nope. That is Haynes still up there. Time in scoring.
He's about to be in the lead, Joe. He's going for the pass right now.
Got out my crystal ball.
And Adam Young has hit the wall in the infield, as well as, it appears, Paul Williams? No, Mike Richter as well.
That was... Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, Young hit the outside wall. And I believe, yes, indeed, you're right, Richter. He did not cause a caution, thankfully for him, because he already had an EOL at the start of this race. Certainly caused some woes for Adam Young, unfortunately. The Texan is probably not going to be happy about that happening at his home track.
These trucks are becoming very much a handful, Joe. Bradley Holly, who we saw take the lead from Rob Haynes on screen right before that replay, he very much is struggling with his truck as well as everybody else. So as we're watching this battle up here with Colton Lane trying to hold off Jalen Battle, Brandon Walter, and Jose Telez, these trucks really giving everyone problems right now.
We saw Walter get a little bit of the wall on the exit of 4 earlier, so I wonder if he's struggling with an ill-handling truck.
And I can report that Baron Hilton lost it off of turn 2 and hit the inside wall. He's got a blown engine. He's done for the day. These trucks, they're starting to drop like flies.
But still no second caution for the day. Jalen Battle going to move into 3rd, potentially. He's got a nose ahead of Colton Lane. Lane could maybe fight back off the turn, and it doesn't look like that will be the case. The 60 falls behind number 28, who is now onto the podium.
And just 6 spots behind these guys. William Hartman's moved up to P11, so he's climbing through the field. Well, oh my goodness, Colton Lane getting extremely loose off of 2. He's able to manage to save it, but man, that truck's starting to get away from him.
Got our caution. This is not Hilton. Oh, it's Adam Shane.
Yes, it is.
Another single car incident.
Yeah, this truck just gets loose on him, it looks like. We're going to take a look at this as he goes through 1 and 2 here. This truck is something you don't necessarily feel when you're driving it, but it starts to break loose, and then he realizes it. He tries to correct it, but is unable to, and it just slaps that inside wall. And luckily, everyone else managed to dodge that wreck.
And that was right in front of our rival for Bradley Holly in the championship, Paul Williams, who's now in 16th. We wait for them to come down into pit lane. There's Shane with severe damage on the nose of that truck. Well, everybody who certainly looked like they were going to have a bad time at the start seems to be having a better time now. Holly, who we mentioned, climbed his way, is leading them into pit lane. Hartman coming back to 11th, as I mentioned, and Williams now up to 16th. It is certainly not over yet.
Hopefully no one else gets punted into pit road here this time, but it looks like everyone's getting into their spots clean. We'll see whether or not anyone misses it.
Watching to see. It's a while for Daniel Knight to get into his stall, as he was still well mired in the back. It's going to be first out. So it's going to be tight between Holly and Haynes gets it.
Wow. On a great stop for him. Surprisingly enough, the difference between those two on pit lane just had to do with his pit crew being able to pull off 0.3 of a second faster of a pit stop for him.
Devil is in the details. With this being our second caution of the day, it's a good time now for us to take a short break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. It's been a pretty good bit of green flag racing thus far, so hopefully we'll get more of that here for the latter half of round 7 in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. So don't go away. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. We're watching round 7 of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. And Rob Haynes, after the last set of pit stops here under caution, eked by Bradley Holly. So it will be those two on the front row, but with Haynes to the inside. Jalen Battle just behind them, with Colton Lane on that second row. It will be our second restart of the day. And it's been pretty quick racing out there. It's got a little bit hairy now that we've had a bit of a longer run on this second one. The driver is experiencing just how slippery the trucks can get in these conditions. As the Mustang pace car gets ready to peel off, what's Rob Haynes going to do? He's going to jump early. Green flag is out. Bradley Holly, with not much of an answer, at least manages to get down low ahead of Jalen Battle before he can get inside for that second place. Fourth, also single file for Lane before you get too wide between Walter and Telez.
Walter and Telez side by side there for that 5th position. Doing a good job. Looks like Walter is staying low there, trying to make sure that Telez isn't going to be able to side drift, and he's able to do so. Brendan Chatley lost quite a few positions on that restart, falls back to the 10th position as they cross the line. Rob Haynes leads.
Pretty calm up at the front of the pack. Most everybody trying to get themselves sorted out in some form or fashion, but Hartman is not interested in that. He's already up to 9th as he ducks down low below Charles Sumner. The number 67 next has Dominic Lejeune in front of him. Oh, do we have a caution?
It does not appear so.
No.
So William Hartman is up 2 positions from his starting position as he's looking onto this 4-way battle between Tellez, Walter, Houndshell, and Bajin. That's a lot of positions that he can make up right there. But look at this. Rob Haynes and Bradley Hawley taking off with that lead.
Yeah, they have gapped those behind them by a pretty big margin of about a second. We're watching the 67 start to approach this side-by-side action. In fact, he's easily going to get Brandon Walter through 3 and 4, so that gives him 8th place. Up next, Lejeune just in front of him. Big loss of control there for the 94 and for Bajin.
Yeah, William Hartman actually clipped the wall there, I believe. But it looks like we have a pass for the lead happening. Bradley Hawley goes to the inside of Rob Haynes as they go onto the dogleg.
Hawley doesn't care if they're gapping those behind. He certainly loves to be up at the front, as he's shown multiple times this season. And now we do have a caution for sure. That is Blaine Adams, as well as John LaBaff. Yeah. LaBaff was the first one. He brushes the wall out of 4, and then it just goes south from there.
And then
Adams.
Okay, so we're gonna take a look at this. John LaBaff, yeah, clips the wall just a little bit and then spins and then gets collected. But Adam J. Young and Zachary Jarre actually came together right before that, actually. If we focus on Zachary Jarre here, he loses it coming off of 4. I think he was trying to pit again, Joe.
Yeah, this time it looks a lot more clear because he takes it all the way to the apron and then loses control in front of Adam Young. Oof. Both cases where it's just almost kind of a 1 in a million being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
All right, so Adam Young in the pits having to work on his truck as we see everyone's going to come down to pit lane one more time.
There you can see them all working their way down towards the stall. And are we going to see another swap? Because last time Haynes was able to beat Hawley out. Haynes is much closer to the end of the pit lane, so has an easier time trying to accelerate up to speed without going over. Pretty clean up at the front amongst our first few. It's not going to be this time. It is very much Hawley, and in fact, Adam Zemke, where did he come from? That's a 2-tire stop for the 21.
Well, they were only out there for a couple of laps, so I think that's definitely a good play. But interestingly enough, our leader at this restart is not going to be Bradley Hawley unless he takes a pit stop. Frank Peacock will lead us to the green next time. He stayed out.
So Frank Peacock may be thinking he could potentially get himself a little bit of clean air, and that could gift him a few positions. We are on lap 42, so this is pretty much exactly halfway as we come across the line here into lap 43. As we mentioned, Hawley, Zemke, Haynes behind them. Battle still in the mix. Colton Lane falls to 6th after that. Hartman not able to gain. In fact, he lost 1 position in those pit stops too. He falls down to 9th. Where are our other big runners? Paul Williams still in 16th. Can't seem to make forward progress. We saw LaBaff's woes. He's out of this race now, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of drivers just not having any luck tonight. Seems like luck has disappeared tonight on the right before All Hallows Eve. I mean, like, this, it seems like there's just a lot of haunting going on.
Yeah, this is giving the drivers a few spooks and scares, and I think there's going to be some batters and bruises. This horror film for some of our drivers who have fallen out is now over, but those who are trying to get repairs are going to limp on. Question is, who's going to say, "I'll be right back," and find their way back up to the front? And I think we're going to get the one to go this time based on what we're seeing from the drivers.
This is going to be interesting to see how Frank Peacock can start on these used tires. My guess is based upon track temperature. I mean, like, the temperatures around here with the weather, not that bad right now. Only 85 degrees track temp. And Frank Peacock is going to have to be starting on those old tires. They're only 10 laps old. As we take a look, 77 degrees, no wind to speak of, really, with low humidity. I think he's going to be fine. He's not going to have to worry too much about tire spin, but what he does have to worry about is outsmarting Bradley Holly.
That's going to be easier said than done. It's about the only way that you're going to beat him anymore, it seems, is the pace just seems to be in favor of the 184 no matter where we go. So if you can't outrun them, outthink them, Peacock in the 55 will have 12 laps on his tires, not all of those under green. Is that going to be close enough that he could at least hang with the leaders? Pace car is in. Peacock has control. He gives it a moment. Green flag is out as he accelerates away. Holly with a very good jump to his outside. And in fact, he's starting to gain as they come down towards turn one. Could he power move his way into the lead on the very first lap of the restart? He's going to try it. Both of them getting a little bit of help from behind. That's Haynes up on the high side, and down low, those tires are shot for the 55. Zemke finds that out the hard way as he starts to fall backwards with him.
If Peacock is not able to hold it on the low line, that allows Bradley Holly and Rob Haynes to zip right by, and they're already taking off in this field. That's getting bottled up because of Peacock. They're almost 3 wide off of 4.
Oh, this is not looking good. Bajin stuck behind him.
A wreck at the back of the field. That's Mike Richter going around.
And I'm not getting a caution. Now we are.
Wow, I don't know how NASCAR is going to sort that one out. That field was 4 or 5 wide coming off of turn 2.
Well, thankfully, NASCAR here on iRacing is automated. Richter had some help on this one. Let's watch Hunter here. Hunter in the 109 just tips him.
Yeah, just really, really close there.
That was through the dog leg, really where you don't want to be making contact as the steering wheel is not straight. It sends him around.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas Hunter was just on that low line and had to avoid that first turn in the double dog leg and just came up a little bit into Richter as Richter was taking the normal arcing line through there. So just kind of a coming together there. I'm not sure whether, I don't know if you could place blame there.
Well, Richter's been getting more tricks than treats tonight, and that's going to send him back to 22nd spot. Still on the lead lap, so certainly not out of it. But we've lost Jason Hounshell, Baron Hilton, Zach Zwar is out of this race. Adam Young is still getting repairs. Not sure if he'll be able to get back out. Blaine Adams has also been taking repairs for a long period. John LaBaff is gone. And Adam Shane is at the very end of the field, but still racing.
All right, so not many people took pit stops that time, understandably, because it was such a short green flag run. But our pitters are Daniel Knight, Mark Kalin, Brett Adams, obviously Frank Peacock, saw how low his pace was, Mike Richter, who was in that wreck, and then the rest of them are out at the moment. So just those 6 trucks.
Now, I'm curious where Peacock was in the field before he made that strategy call, because I'm wondering if this bit him or if he wound up about even, or if actually in the end did help and he gained a couple spots, because he's in 18th right now. So it's going to be Hawley up at the front, Haynes, Battle, Lane, Zemke. Not much has changed with that short period of green flag racing that we had. It was a good start to the race. And suddenly we're getting a little bit of yellow fever.
Yeah, Pichuk, I just went and checked where Pichuk was before that caution. He was down in about 20th, so he's net +2 with that whole exchange, so probably not worth it in the end.
Yeah, I would say that comes out even. Can't complain about it, but nothing gambled, nothing gained, I suppose. So we're going to wait for everybody to work their way around. The sun has gone away a little bit here, though. It must have gotten a cloud. I'm noticing that it's getting pretty dark, and that's not because of the sun actually going below the horizon. We're only at 5:30 p.m. virtual standard time.
Yeah, so this banking really helping shade turns 1 and 2, and that's allowing them to get more grip through those corners, but they're still slipping a lot coming out of 2 onto the backstretch. We've seen a couple of trucks struggle with that, but as the sun gets lower and lower in the sky, and as those clouds continue to pass overhead, this track's going to keep decreasing in temperature and keep gripping up for these guys.
Still waiting for a few drivers to finish their repairs and get back out there. 23 cars are still running from what I am seeing out of our 29 starters. Almost looking a little bit more like a case of drivers just attempting to limp to the finish based on how many incidents we've had recently, because I thought we would have more than that would be gone. We talked in Iowa about how the cars were pretty beat and battered. And then again at Martinsville, we saw the same thing. Are we going to get more trucks damaged than clean at the end of this thing? Or is everybody going to sort themselves out? They're now double file once again. Holly's going to have control once they come around for the restart.
Speaking of yellow fever, Joe, based upon my math, which I should never do on stream, I'm guessing probably 2 more cautions, and on that second one, we'd get that strange one-lap shootout that we've been getting the last couple times. So these guys have got to keep it clean if they want a chance to try and win this on pace.
Yeah, certainly not looking positive about getting to the end of things now, at least not as positive as it did a few moments ago. Now into 3 and 4. Holly's been good on the restarts. Wait for that Mustang pace car to disappear from his windshield. The 184 looking for another championship, and as he gets it on the loud pedal, he once again moves up into the lead. As they go single file down into turn 1, Haynes behind him, Colton Lane down into third, already single file, Jalen Battle as well. Looks like Jake Hounshell and Dominic Begine fighting for 7th position, the first 2 wide we've got in the field.
Yeah, it looks like Dominic Begine up on that high side, Jake on the low side. That low side is just going to be faster here as we at the beginning of this run. Ooh, the 67 catching the paint a little bit behind them. Almost comes up into Dominic Begine. That's William Hartman and managing to save that truck and keep going. But that was a really scary moment for him. He's falling back a little bit.
Finally settles out with Hounshell taking 7th and Begine settling for 8th. In fact, Hounshell's already attacking Zemke. The 21 might be losing 6th place here in a moment because the 94's got it to his low side down through turns 3 and 4. Keeping it off the wall, a big lift there for Adam Zemke. That's going to give up the spot to the 94.
The truckers have to be really careful. This is the first time any of them have stayed out and done a heat cycle on these tires. So these trucks are going to handle very differently than what they have in the past runs. So they have to be careful of when that tire fall off is going to be.
Hartman gets into 8th underneath him as we jump back to Haynes, still chasing Hawley. But he's got a threat behind him. Colton Lane, who has been quick at many of the rounds thus far this season, now trying to apply some pressure on him.
Now this top 4 starting to run away a little bit. They've got almost a second on Jose Tellez in 5th position. Jose not really being pressured himself. but this top 4 looks like they're in it for the fight. But Rob Haynes and Colton Lane, one of them's got to get up there and get on the back of Bradley Holly, because we've seen him snake away before, and that's the last thing they want to see today.
Already a 2/10 gap between Hawley and Haynes. Don't look now, but it's about 2 seconds from the leader back to William Hartman. And he's chasing down Jake Hounshell, who himself has been incredibly fast on this restart. The 94 is looking like he is liking the conditions right now. Meanwhile, we look in the middle of the pack as we see Chatley in a big fight.
Yeah, and Joe, I'm starting to look at some of these trucks. They're starting to break loose off the corners. It looks like that 15-lap tire delta for when the fall-off is going to happen is going to be the case even with those pit laps. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not people can hang on to it as this truck starts to fall away from them.
Wow, Zemke, speaking of falling away, wasn't he up in the top 5? He's down to 11th and make that 12th now because his low side is hunting 16.
And Zemke's been able to maintain pace here, but he's just stuck on that high side. He can't get by, so he's trying to do everything he can to make it by, but he just is hanging onto the truck right now. But as these trucks start to get looser, it's going to be rough. Oh man, that was close. We're going to go up to P5 right now. That's a battle between Jose Tellez and William Hartman.
And Hounshell, who Hartman just got for 6th position. Wow, this is similar to what we saw from Holly, just staying down on the low line. Somehow the 67 almost getting a 2 for 1. And now he's finally up into the top 5. William Hartman spent some time in the wilderness, but he is indeed back.
That's good for his point standings for sure, but he's got to climb a 1.7 second gap up to Jalen Battle in order to try and get back into this fight for the win. It's going to be tough sailing for him. He's got to save his stuff, but it looks like his truck is pretty rough right now. It's pushing heavily off of 4, and that's going to turn into a snap loose just a little bit further into this run. But it looks like Colton Lane and Jalen Battle are duking it out for 3rd.
Yeah, very close between those two. And I'm sure William Hartman will want them to continue fighting to help his climb forward. What's the second time around going to be for Hartman now that he's found his way up to the top of the field again? Is it going to be a good sequel or straight to video? He's down to 1.5 seconds on that lap alone. The 67 looks quick.
Yeah, he's really hoping for a thriller tonight. He's going to be trying to do his best to climb his way up to those top 4. And he's putting in some good times and starting to gap Tellez.
Credit to Rob Haynes as well. He's holding Bradley Holly accountable, keeping it to within 2 or 3/10 of a second. Well, and as I say that, through 3 and 4 this time around, looks like the 29 lost to mid-ground.
Rob Haynes is keeping pace on him. He's just staying far enough back to make sure to stay in his tire tracks and do what he does and make sure to maintain his pace. But yeah, these trucks are starting to break loose off of 2.
I wonder if that's what's affecting Haynes, because he went from sticking with Bradley Holly to now suddenly seeing Colton Lane filling his mirrors. Boy, the 60, as that was a close exit for the number 29. Rob Haynes nearly scraping the wall.
And William Hartman's cut down half a second off of that gap between himself and Jalen Battle, so he's coming. He's going to be here soon, especially by the end of this race if he can hang on to his truck.
Noticing on the entry.
Oh, we have a spinner in the back. That's Mike Richter, who's gone to the wall again.
And I don't believe
caution.
we got a caution. Looks like he was out of the racing line. Talk about getting loose.
He's able to make it to pit road, but watch him on the exit of 2 here. He's just going to start to get that slow rotation going and get loose, and then he just tries to correct it and just gets into a tank slapper.
And it's the inside wall with that heavy impact that rang his doorbell, unfortunately. Richter down to pit lane to get more repairs.
Looks like Colton Lane is onto the back of Rob Haynes right now. He's just biding his time and helping push Haynes up to Bradley Holly right now. But look at this. Rob Haynes a little bit low off the corner and a little slow. Let's see what Colton Lane wants to take advantage of.
Doesn't even poke outside to try and see if he can get an open line. He'll stay in third for now. Worth pointing out that Paul Williams recently battling with Dominic Bajin for seventh. He didn't get the spot. But Williams, another one of those drivers that is high in the points and is really making good on what started as just a unfun night for number 7.
He definitely is, but here's the opportunity for Colton Lane. He's going to take it. He's looking to the low side. He's going to go and try and take this position into 3 and 4.
And Lane's one of the drivers that has yet to win this season. Despite being up there in the points, Lane takes second place away from Haynes, down through 3 and 4. And check out that battle because, wow, Williams in front of a mess of trucks. Look at this.
This is a serious gaggle. Everyone just trying to stay off the wall. Dominic Bajin got extremely loose up fourth. Oh, they're wrecking. This is going to be a big one.
Maybe not.
Wow. Amazing driving from everyone to keep their trucks straight off of 2.
Houndshell, that was the slowest developing wreck I think I've ever seen. And 94 got a little bit loose. He got a tip, and then he got another tip, and you'll see him go completely around. And like you said, about 5 trucks all find their way to either side.
And you'll see the 109 of Nicholas Hunter late on approach the 94, and he just kind of loses it on his own down on the low side. These trucks definitely built to go around these corners and not built to go straight, so we're going to watch that happen here.
Less than 20 laps to go now. There's the onboard for Hunter. Oh, pretty heavy hit for him. If we come back live, our leader's just about to come into pit lane. Now we are getting close to the end here.
All right, so everyone's in pit lane right now. We're about to see who this benefits the most. And here's a surprise, Joe. Austin Hunter had just pitted a lap before the caution, and he, I believe, is going to inherit the lead.
Oh, wow. What a bizarre turn of events. So who's going to get out of the pit lane first to be second? And I think Colton Lane. Did he beat Bradley Holly? It was incredibly close. I think he did.
He did. Amazing from his pit crew. Once again, 0.3 of a second over Bradley Holly's pit crew. Bradley Holly may have the luck, but the rest of these guys seem to have the pit crews tonight.
So will this twist things around? We've got 12 minutes left to go, by the way, with the, let's see, we're on lap 68. So about 13 laps to go. 17 laps to go, actually, I should say. Oh, and Hunter's coming in. Hunter changes his mind. He does not want this situation. That he'll send him to the tail of the train. Looks like we've got Adam Young ready to talk to us, one of our drivers who I'm assuming at this point has retired from this race. Adam, sad to see you in the pits taking repairs. It looked like the start of the race was actually relatively uneventful, and since then things have gone south for more than just you out there. What's it like from inside the cockpit?
Yeah, it went south in a hurry, and I'm officially done. In fact, I can tell you that 31 minutes now of required repairs. Coming around on that last yellow, the engine decided to go ahead and finally pop on me, so it's done. But yeah, you know, Mike Richter, he kind of got loose underneath me there, and you know, in the process of correcting it, just kind of bumped me a little bit. And it doesn't take much going through 4 to be able to put you up into the wall. And, you know, but I still felt like I could recover with that after the damage required and everything else, because I really felt like going into this thing, I maybe had a top 5 truck here tonight. And then, you know, coming around, Zachary lost it underneath me and then decided to go ahead and try to save the truck, yank the wheel right, and put it back up into the track, and that just pretty much finished my night off. But I still thought I could get a top 20, and well, now the engine died, so here I am.
Yeah, as a Texan, is this hurt a little bit more? Is this a place that you kind of circled on your calendar for this season that you wanted to perform well?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime, and it's kind of fortuitous that I had the trading paints issue tonight. I'm not running my ride and shotgun scheme. I'm running my Texas Tech scheme. So it's like I really wanted to do good here, but things just don't have a way just not happening. And if Daniel said it best, if we didn't have any luck, if we had any luck at all, it's just all going to be bad luck here. But just got to keep marching on, and we're liking it, the PRL so far. So I can tell you early on, I think a lot of us are going to be back next season.
Oh, we look forward to that, and hopefully it's a little bit better luck next season. That was Adam Young, who is DNF'd from what we have confirmed now for the remainder of this race, because only 9 minutes are left as we get double file, and we should be very, very tight, if not already past the point of no return in terms of being able to complete all 85 laps. We'll restart on lap 71. Let's see. The Mustang pace car ducking in, and if Colton Lane can manage to get a better jump on Bradley Hawley than what we saw before with Rob Haynes. Pace car is in, and Lane is away. Green flag is out. Bradley Hawley actually under attack this time. Rob Haynes down to the inside, looking to see if he can take that second place away from the multi-time champion, and he's got it.
Yeah, definitely a good start. A fantastic start, actually, from Colton Lane. He was able to jump Bradley Hawley just by waiting a little bit longer than most people expected before taking that green flag. A good jump from him, but Hawley's only back to third.
Don't look now. We've got...
That's Brandon Walter in the wall. Brandon Walter's in the wall. He's made it to pit road, so this still should stay green.
What I was about to say is actually... Hawley... Gonna try. No, it's Haynes and Colton Lane. Rob Haynes goes up to the lead past Colton Lane. Hawley could have a chance to maybe get into second and follow him through, but no. Down into turn 3, he has to slot in behind the number 60. And
that
what I was about
around the high side, Joe.
Wow. What I was about to say earlier is that's Paul Williams and William Hartman. His championship rivals are only separated by one car, and that's Jalen Battle between them.
Don't think for 1 second that Paul Williams is not going to want to dispose of Jalen Battle as quickly as possible. Wow. Bradley Hawley extremely loose off of 2. He's able to manage to hold on to it just by sliding the car like a rally truck. But Paul Williams just one spot behind, like you said. Jalen Battle between him and Bradley Hawley. His championship rivals are closing fast.
They're still behind them, though. They need to make inroads on the championship points, so they must finish ahead of the 184 if they want to take the fight to him. As they come around through 1 and 2 once again. Everybody looking a little bit more solid this time off the corner. And in fact, starting to get a little bit spread out between our top 5. Very, very close down in 14th position. That's being led by Zemke, as he finally recovered from the fall backwards that we saw earlier for the 21. Hound Shell behind him. Kalen, you can see in the orange and yellow truck, taking the spot away from Chatley. Ooh, this is going to be a bad day in terms of points for the number 59 of Chatley.
Yeah, all these trucks in the back of the field look like they're just scrapping for the lower points at this stage in the game. But they're all trying to just keep it straight right now. These trucks are very difficult. Looks like Bradley Hawley's going for a pass on Colton Lane.
Yes, he is indeed. He managed to get the shot off of turn 4 down to the low side. He's used that a couple times now. Lane has no response. He falls to third. Still, Jalen Battle is holding back Williams and Hartman behind them. No change from 4th to 6th.
They've got to get on the move on. We're at 10 laps to go at this stage. They've got to go now.
I wonder if that's what Bradley Hawley is doing. Is this him saying, I've got to make my move if I want to try and take this win and be the first person to reach 3 wins this season?
Joe, Jalen Battle just blocked Paul Williams all the way down that straightaway, taking away that low line. That's held them both up. Wow, Jalen extremely loose off the corner. Paul Williams going to go to the outside here and try and make this work as Colton Lane tries to go the inside of Bradley Hawley.
That doesn't work out for Lane, but the 67 actually, I think, gave a little bit of a tap to Jalen Battle. Everybody comes out the other side. The 7 now with more momentum up on the high side. Williams still trying to get himself into 4th spot. Is that high line starting to come in? Because he might actually do this here.
It looks like it is. I think it's been rubbered in just enough at this stage of the game that it's starting to work out for him. Rob Haynes is actually kind of taking a midline there in the lead. But look at this. Paul Williams still battling with Jalen Battle around the outside. They've been side by side for 2 laps.
Easier said than done, especially with how these trucks are set up today. The number 7 is not giving up on this. He really wants to get himself up to Bradley Holly. And so far, Battle is denying him. The 20
got to go to the
still
lead.
a nose ahead. Oh, and you're right down to the low side. The 184 up to the front. Rob Haynes couldn't hold on to it forever. Colton Lane going to try and take advantage, but he can't get the acceleration off of 4. In fact, Rob Haynes is the one that gets the best shot. He starts to come back at the number 184 on the high side. Down into 1 and 2, though, he finally gives up the ghost.
Not sure he's giving up the ghost necessarily. Bradley Holly's going to pull up in front anyway. Oh no, Colton Lane's around. Oh, that's
and he
huge.
glitches. He glitches in the inside wall. Did he get hit by anybody when he got sent back?
No.
I think the 24 went completely underneath him.
Yeah, Colton Lane just goes into the inside wall, and then the inside wall just says nope and sends him into the catch fence and catches him. Watch right here. Wabuemo! And he gets caught by the catch fence there. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, I mean, spiders are appropriate for Halloween, so maybe he was just trying to do his best impression. That is... I think he needs to sit down and have a beer with John Ambrose after that one, because he could certainly commiserate. So, does this end it for us is the question. Holly had just taken the lead. They've got 3 minutes left. Holly's coming in, though. Holly is pitting.
Williams is going to take the risk and stay out.
5 laps to go. 3 minutes left.
Oh, and he's
I
not the
think
only one.
I think we're going to get a restart.
But okay, so Paul Williams staying out, that's not a problem. But we have quite a few drivers that actually decided to stay out there. This is going to become a problem for all these championship points contenders. This actually might have been a good call from Paul Williams. We're about to find out.
Yeah, 14-lap-old tires. And with enough staying out, Telez, Sumner, Zemke, Brett Adams stays out. Brennan Shatley is still out there. Frank Peacock as well. Holly comes out the first of the drivers who pitted.
This is going to get very interesting, Joe. It's going to come down to the wire here to see whether or not they're able to make it.
2 minutes left on the clock, and they're on the back stretch without being double file. And I don't think we're going to get the 2 wide call this time.
But if iRacing determines that this caution would have gone into the final lap, it'll call the green-white checker regardless of the time on the clock. So as they start this next lap, each lap under caution has been about 1 minute 21 seconds long.
It's about 1:35 as they cross the line.
So this might be... I don't think they're going to get a restart, Joe. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. If so, has Williams won yet? Let me check on that. No. Williams would be our 6th winner out of 7 rounds. And, boy, this would be a nice little points haul to close in on Bradley Holly as well. It won't close him in completely, but if Holly stays in 8th spot, this will be great for the driver who is currently 2nd in the points.
We are under 1 minute to go. Crossing the line this time will determine for us whether or not we take this finish under yellow or whether or not we go to some form of green-white checker finish. whether it be by laps or by official green-white checker.
Well, yeah, because it's going to be 2 to go this time by. So even if we go double file, at most, they'll have 1 lap to the finish, if they are allowed to do so. They're coming to it with 20 seconds to go. So yeah, this should be a
Green-white
one-lap
checker.
shootout.
Green-white checker. We just got a call.
Ah. Now, is it a full green-white checkers or is it 1 lap? Oh boy. I feel like we've had every possible iteration of the time running out and getting these green-white checkers, Adam. Just
I mean, Joe,
speaking
this
frankly.
is the 3rd week in a row, is it not? I mean, come on.
It's just that every time we think, okay, we've got a handle on exactly what's going to happen here, and then suddenly we're thrown in a new situation where a different variable kind of complicates things.
And I mean, like, what are the chances that we get this for 3 weeks in a row, 3 races in a row at the series, that we run into this edge case scenario?
This is where I wish we did have a team with us who could madly flip through the rule books for us and tell us exactly what would happen. But this is sim broadcasting, and we work on a little bit of a shoestring compared to teams like NBC. So we're with you, and we're going to be with you to the end. As the pace car is in, we were told a green-white checker.
Oh, horrible
So
start
see.
for Bradley Hawley in the back of the field. But Paul Williams got a great start along with Jose Tellez.
I just got the call 2 to go on mine, so I think this will be a full green-white checker. Paul Williams is up to the front in front of Tellez. The closest behind on new tires, Hawley is up to 5th, but barely. He's got to make better inroads than that. We could still finish under yellow here if we get a caution before we get back to the green. And now that Hawley is free, he is flying. He is absolutely gobbling up cars.
White flag.
White flag is out. This is going to have to take an incredible lap from the number 7, because look at the 184. The pace is incredible. The 184 is gone.
No,
The race is over.
Was that
The race is over.
No.
That was it.
Paul Williams won.
He did indeed. The number 7 taking the checkered flag. Josue Tellez took 2nd, and Hawley took 3rd. He was literally feet away from stealing the victory.
Bradley Hawley was smoking around the outside, but Paul Williams just holding strong with Jose Tellez on the bottom side. Paul Williams is going to take this victory and going to be able to do burnouts here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Wow. So that'll make him a happy camper as we get our 6th different winner. We're going to untangle this, and we'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. But don't go away, because on screen you'll see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC.
Welcome back to the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. What an amazing finish we just had. Paul Williams coming away with the victory. just in front of Jose Tellez, and Bradley Hawley steaming around the outside, unable to catch them by the end of the race. He comes home in third position. Charles Sumner is going to come home in fourth, with Brett Adams in fifth place. Jalen Battle, after battling up front for so long, only comes home in sixth place, unfortunately. Adam Zemke, a good recovery from him, to seventh place, with Dominic Vagine in eighth, Rob Haynes in ninth place, and then William Hartman, off of that restart, falling back a couple of positions down to 10th. 11th place is going to go to Rachel Hunt, with Mark Kalin coming home in 12th. Jake Houndshell is going to come home in 13th position tonight, with Brendan Chatley in 14th. Daniel Knight, after a good start for him, falls back to 15th place tonight, with Austin Hunter in 16th, and 17th is Frank Peacock. Robert Besaw Jr. is going to come home in 18th position tonight, alongside Colton Lane in 19th, and Adam Shane rounds out your top 20 trucks. And at this point, we're into the did not finishers. Brandon Walter coming home 21st, Nicholas Hunter 22nd, Mike Richter 23rd, Adam Young, John LaBath, Blaine Adams, Zachary Joire, Baron Hilton round out your field, and Jason Houndshell only got one lap in. Wow, what a finish. Paul Williams is here with us now from the podium. He just won this race. Paul, what were you thinking when you saw Bradley Hawley steaming around the outside on the final corner? Did you think he could get there?
I'll tell you what, I was so focused on not making mistakes that I didn't even see Brad coming. I was just worried about hitting my marks, and I knew it was the last lap, and it was a little confusing. Wasn't sure if it was going to be or not, but man, it's been a long time coming. So super thrilled that we were able to pull this off. This was very reminiscent of Kansas, I think it was, and I stayed out, and it bit me bad, and I was like, I saw them pull down, and I thought, oh God, here we go again. But it worked out this time.
Yeah, Paul, you raced a fantastic race, especially being marred back in the pack. What was it that caused you to start from the back today?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Right before qualifying started, my computer, just as a whole, my CPU was struggling. So my plan was to go and lay down a lap and then try to do a quick restart. And then, I gave up the first lap to try to get a good run going into the second, wrecked it. So my lap wasn't going to be great. Tried to restart, didn't get back in time, so I missed the start, and it was just playing from behind the entire race. So I really got to thank my teammate Josue, who was, on the channel with me, telling me, calm down. We're only a third of the way through. We're only halfway through. You'll get there. Then I made a mistake on pit road, so about 5 spots I gave right back up. It was a race of playing from behind the entire time, but not giving up. So super excited to finally get it done.
Definitely, Paul. And coming into that final caution, you saw the clock, you saw the laps ticking down. What was it? Were you doing math in your head to try and figure out to stay out or not? What was your thought process staying out there at the end?
Well, as we were approaching the pit entrance, I just said to Josue, I'm just like, whatever the leaders do, I don't know. And I was looking at the time, and I just thought, we'll just try it again, see what happens. And, that was the plan at Kansas, expecting about 4 or 5 people from the back maybe to try to sneak a better finish, and it didn't work out. So I was really nervous, but when I looked and I saw that, Charles and some of the other guys decided to stay out with us, I thought we had a pretty good shot. But looking back on it now, realizing Brad was right there, I mean, it could have not worked out. But, I hate that I stole it from him, but we'll take him how we can get him.
The iRacing gods have smiled upon you today with that short green-white checker finish. Paul Williams, fantastic win tonight. Great talking to you up here. Is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. You guys put on an awesome broadcast after every race. We sit back, we watch it, have a good time. That's what makes this league so special. I want to thank the PRL, Charles, Brad, all the admins. They make it really fun to compete with these guys. My teammate Josue and Integrity Digital for being on board. So thanks again. Appreciate everything you guys do.
That was Paul Williams, our winner tonight. And next up, we have Jose Tellez, second place. Josue, you also made the strategy call to stay out there at the end. What was that call like going into it? Did you know that you were going to be able to make it on just that one lap?
Yeah, I talked to Paul, my teammate, and we set it up. I told him how much time we had left, and he called out about following the leaders, see what they do. But I told him, let's just stick out. Maybe it'll work this time. And then here we are at the end.
So you started up near the front, but it wasn't easy sailing and quite a few changes of position throughout the day. How was it racing up front there with the leaders?
It was fun. It was very, very competitive. I enjoyed the battles. The car did get away from me a little bit on the long run, but I guess as the time went on, the car came to be a little better, so I was able to stay up there in the top 10, I guess. But I'm just glad that strategy worked out at the end.
Definitely, Josue. Well, fantastic finish for you, and we look forward to seeing you get more finishes like this as the season progresses.
Yeah, me too. I look forward to talking to you guys more often. Thank you.
Awesome. That was Josue Telez, our second place finisher. And third, we have Bradley Hawley. Bradley, what a finish. What a run from you on the outside there. When you came into that final caution, you decided to take to pit road. Did you think that it was gonna be that tight on time?
Yeah, yeah, I knew it, and I'm kicking myself for going in, and that should have been battling for the win a lot closer than what I did after getting fresh tires.
And as you were smoking around the outside there, did you think that there was any chance of you being able to catch up to Paul on that one lap shootout? Did you know that it was one lap, or did you guys not know that going into there?
With the way iRacing does it, it doesn't tell you if it's a 1 lap or a 2 lap shootout. So we were banking the decision to pit on it being a full green white checker, and it just didn't work out for us this go around.
Well, Bradley, still a very respectable finish from you, coming home in third position. Good salvaging the points day, especially after your qualifying. It's great to see you back up on the podium tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Bradley Hawley, our third place finisher tonight. And that rounds out our interviews for tonight, folks. It has been great to be with you tonight with the PRL NASCAR Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. We just want to give a thank you to PRL for bringing us back here for another season of coverage for them tonight. We also want to give a thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast, and you're going to see them right here on our screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides the beautiful music that you see on our broadcasts. Take a look at that screen and go to our website to see how you can get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Joe, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including our upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check us out on social media, which is Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and at Instagram, which is at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page. Actually, you're right here right now. Hit that big red subscribe button as well. It's right down there to the right, so that you don't miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Next race is going to be Phoenix. That is going to be Wednesday, November 6th at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have another exciting race just like this one tonight. And we also have other upcoming races for other series listed here on your screen, so you can check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.